Every single day, more than 10 million emails, phone calls, and financial transactions move through undersea cables guarded by Portugal in the Atlantic. Most people never think about these hidden lines, but if they were cut, Europe would lose its main lifeline overnight. No fuel would flow, no internet would connect, no secure defense links would reach across the ocean. So the question is simple: what would happen if that connection failed? Here's the surprising part. Portugal, one of Europe's smallest countries, controls one of the world's largest sea zones, over 1.7 million square kilometers. On a map, its land looks tiny, but at sea, Portugal rules a space bigger than many continents. Inside this vast zone lie the cables, air routes, and supply chains that keep Europe alive. Imagine a nation so small on land, yet so vast at sea, holding the keys to Europe's skies, waters, and data lines. This is the untold truth of why Portugal's military is stronger than ever, and why NATO cannot survive without it in 2025. To understand Portugal's military power today, you must look back to its naval history. Centuries ago, during the Age of Discovery, Portugal built its identity at sea. It created the first detailed maps of the Atlantic. It launched ships that crossed oceans, linking Europe, Africa, Asia, and South America. Its sailors built bases that stretched across 4 continents, from Brazil to Goa to Mozambique. For a time, Portugal controlled the world's routes, proving that a small nation could shape global trade and global power. That tradition never disappeared. What once fueled empire now strengthens national defense. The same skills that built exploration now protect infrastructure, cables, and vital waters. Portugal's people carry this naval DNA. They see the ocean not as a border, but as their natural front line. In the 21st century, the Atlantic is no longer just a highway for goods. It is a contested zone, filled with submarines, cyber threats, and energy routes. Here, Portugal's legacy plays a new role. The alliance of NATO now depends on the very skills Portugal has mastered for centuries. Its fleets, bases, and patrols do more than serve a small nation. They form part of NATO's backbone, holding together the southern flank of Europe. And yet, Portugal's true strength in 2025 lies not only in its history, but in a hidden chain of islands that make it irreplaceable. At the heart of Portugal's strength in 2025 is the Azores archipelago. This small chain of islands sits in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. For centuries, it was a stop for explorers. Today, it is a critical hinge in NATO's defense. The most famous base here is Lajes Field. It is more than a runway. It is NATO's bridge across the Atlantic. Every day, it refuels and relays Allied aircraft. Even the United States B-2 stealth bombers rely on this field to cross the ocean. Without the Azores, NATO's ability to move quickly between North America and Europe would collapse. It would take longer to move troops, harder to move supplies, and almost impossible to coordinate fast missions. This is why the Azores are called an unsinkable aircraft carrier. Unlike a ship, these islands cannot be sunk or blocked. They anchor the alliance, serving as a permanent point that connects 2 continents. For Portugal, holding this chain means holding the keys to NATO's transatlantic strategy. It is not size that makes the Azores important. It is location. One archipelago in the right place keeps the ocean bridge alive. This is why Portugal, though small on land, is giant at sea. But the skies are only half the story. Beneath Portugal lies a deep ocean, carrying secrets just as vital for NATO's survival. Portugal's power is not only in the skies or on the islands. It also lies far below the waves. Portugal controls an exclusive economic zone of 1.73 million square kilometers, one of the largest in Europe. This vast area includes energy routes, shipping lanes, and most importantly, the seabed. On this seabed rest critical cables that carry the world's data. At Signs, cables link Europe to North America. Through the Ela-Link trunk, Portugal connects directly to Brazil and South America. Every day, millions of emails, transactions, and messages flow through these hidden lines. Without them, Europe's economy would slow, and its defense networks would weaken. This is why protecting the seabed is now a central mission for Portugal. If these cables were cut, the damage would not stop at Portugal. It would ripple across the entire continent. In many ways, this is a modern weak point, an invisible target with massive consequences. Portugal's navy is tasked not just with guarding its own borders, but with protecting these global connections. It patrols the surface, but its mission extends deep into the ocean floor. This responsibility makes Portugal more than just a small nation. It makes it a global guardian, watching over the very networks that keep Europe and the wider world alive. But with so much water to cover, how does Portugal's fleet balance its daily patrols with wider NATO duties? Portugal's Navy stays strong not by size, but by smart use of its ships. Every mission is carefully split to protect both the nation and the alliance. For daily tasks, Portugal uses its Viana do Castelo class patrol vessels. These ships guard fisheries, track pollution zones, and monitor the wide exclusive economic zone. By handling these essential duties, they free up the high-end frigates for greater challenges. Those modern frigates join NATO's multinational combat groups, where they sail beside allies from the US, France, and Germany. This balance gives Portugal both sovereignty at home and real presence abroad. It means that while fishermen see the Navy as a daily protector, NATO sees it as a valuable partner. Every patrol at home reinforces Portugal's rights over its seas. Every deployment abroad proves its commitment to collective defense. This is the quiet rhythm of Portugal's Navy, protecting resources, guarding cables, and joining allies when called. It is not always dramatic, but it is the kind of steady work that makes a small country reliable. In this way, Portugal's Navy has become both a shield for its people and a link in NATO's wider chain. But defense at sea is only part of the picture. The question remains, does Portugal's Air Force match the reach of its Navy? Portugal's Air Force is smaller than most of its NATO allies, yet its impact is larger than many expect. The backbone remains its fleet of modernized F-16 fighters. These jets keep Portugal's skies secure and also rotate into NATO's air policing missions over Eastern Europe and the Baltics. This means Portuguese pilots defend not only their own territory, but also the skies of other NATO members. Since 2023, Portugal has also brought in a new tool, the KC-390 transport aircraft. These planes provide heavy lift, aerial refueling, and medical evacuation. They allow Portugal to move troops and supplies, extend the range of Allied fighters, and rescue the wounded from battle zones. By 2025, only 3 KC-390s have been delivered. Yet even this small number has already reshaped Portugal's mobility. One aircraft can shift an entire operation, making Portugal far more flexible than its size suggests. This is the quiet power of Portugal's Air Force, a small fleet that carries global reach. It shows how even limited numbers, when used smartly, can make a major difference. For NATO, this means Portugal is not just a participant. It is a force that multiplies the alliance's options in both peace and war. But there is still a larger question. How can a small country with few troops hold such a critical place in NATO's strategy? Portugal's military may be small in numbers, but its impact is felt across NATO. The key is specialization. Portugal invests in elite units that give the alliance skills few others can match. Its commandos, paratroopers, and naval special operations forces deploy on NATO missions from Eastern Europe to Africa. These are highly trained soldiers, designed to move fast, strike hard, and adapt to difficult terrain. But Portugal's strength is not only in physical forces, it is also a leader in cyber defense. Through the National Cybersecurity Center, CNCS, Portugal protects networks and helps NATO resist digital attacks. This makes the country valuable in both traditional warfare and the new battles fought in cyberspace. The result is a professional force that punches far above its weight. In major NATO exercises like Trident Juncture, Portugal often takes on roles that seem far too large for a country of its size. Yet it delivers, proving that skill matters more than sheer numbers. This is the secret of Portugal's military impact. By focusing on quality, training, and specialized missions, it adds strength to NATO far beyond what its population would suggest. A small country creates global influence when every soldier, every unit, and every system is used with precision. The question now is whether Portugal's budget can keep pace with these rising ambitions. For many years, Portugal struggled with small defense budgets. It spent only about 1.5 to 1.6% of GDP, far below NATO's target. This limited how fast it could modernize its forces. But in 2025, Lisbon made a new pledge. It promised to climb toward 3.5% of GDP, plus another 1.5% in dual-use areas like cyber and infrastructure. For a country of Portugal's size, this is a massive shift. It means that ambition now has real resources behind it. For Portugal, this is not just spending, it is survival. With more funds, its ships, planes, and networks can stay modern and strong. So what does this new investment mean for Portugal's military in 2025? Portugal stands as NATO's Atlantic keystone, From the days of explorers to its place among modern allies, its role has never truly changed. It still guards the seas, the skies, the hidden cables, and even the cyber networks that connect Europe to the world. On land, Portugal is small, but in responsibility, it is giant. Without its bases, NATO's bridge across the Atlantic would weaken. Without its patrols, the southern seas would open to new threats. Without its watch, the digital lifelines of Europe could be cut. This is why Portugal matters more now than ever. But what is the hidden truth that makes it stronger than ever? The real secret of Portugal's power is focus. It does not try to do everything. It concentrates on the roles only it can fill. While larger allies spread their forces wide, Portugal secures the Atlantic's most fragile seams. It proves that strength is not about size. It is about knowing your true leverage. From the explorers of the past to the guardians of today, Portugal shows that relevance never faded. Just as one hidden cable can connect continents, Portugal in 2025 connects NATO's very survival. If a small nation can hold such power, what else are we overlooking in global defense? Portugal's military grew not by chasing size or shouting for attention, but by focusing on its unique role. It understood that no other nation could guard the Atlantic in the same way. That focus turned a small country into a major pillar of NATO's survival. In 2025, Portugal is stronger than ever because it protects the true lifelines, the seas, the skies, and the cyber networks that Europe depends on every single day. Without its watch, the cables could be cut, the routes could be blocked, and the alliance's bridge across the Atlantic could weaken. Portugal proves that real power comes not from numbers, but from protecting what matters most. For more hidden truths about nations shaping the modern world, make sure to subscribe and share your view. Does Portugal's role in the Atlantic make it even more important than Europe's larger militaries?